Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia Rouss and I'd like to share one of my stories with you. This one is called The Littlest Frog. Now you might also know some of my other stories that I've written about a little spider named Sammy. And I actually have pictures of Sammy on my back wall. Can you guess what holiday Sammy's trying to celebrate in this picture? If you said Hanukkah, then you're right. How about this picture? It looks like the Shapiros are doing some spring cleaning. If you said Passover, then you're right. But today, we're going to read about a little frog. And not just a little frog, it's the littlest frog. And actually, right here on my couch, I have some frogs. I am looking for the littlest one. Now, do you think this guy's the littlest one? No, I don't think so. And those three frogs in the back, do you think they're the littlest one? No, I don't think so. The littlest one, I think, is hiding. Have you found him? He's right here. Yes, here he is. And he's going to listen to this story along with all of you. And this is a story about him. A little frog sat in the hot Egyptian sun, watching Jewish slaves work while Pharaoh had fun. Moses, their leader, warned evil Pharaoh, "Bad things will happen if you don't let us go. I'm the great Pharaoh, and nothing scares me. The Jewish people will stay. They'll never be free." The very next morning, when Pharaoh arose, he found a big frog sitting right on his nose. "Pyramids!" he yelled as he jumped up in fright. There were frogs to his left and frogs to his right. He grabbed for his sandals, and to his surprise, sitting there was a frog with big bulgy eyes. "Oh no!" he exclaimed as he pulled on his gown. There was a bullfrog wearing his crown. There were frogs in all sizes hopping about. The biggest ones made Pharaoh tremble and shout. But the littlest frog was very afraid. He hid under the bed, and that's where he stayed. Pharaoh ran to his bath and grabbed a large towel. But when he got there, he let out a howl. There in his bath, frogs were taking a swim, doing the backstroke and staring at him. He fled to the kitchen and opened the door. There were frogs on the table and frogs on the floor. Oh, such a sight Pharaoh never had seen. Wherever he looked, he saw only green. He sped through the palace and let out a groan. There were frogs on his scepter and frogs on his throne. There were frogs on the curtains and in the fruit bowls. There were frogs peeking out from papyrus scrolls. He saw frogs on the ceiling and frogs on the wall. He saw frogs in each room and down every hall. Pharaoh ran quickly and picked up a broom. "I'll get rid of these frogs. I'll sweep every room. I'm the great Pharaoh, and nothing scares me. I'll get rid of you all. Just wait, you'll see." The littlest frog was very afraid. He lay under the bed, and that's where he stayed. Pharaoh checked every basket and shook out each rug. He looked in the urns and emptied each jug. Wherever he looked, frogs were hopping and leaping. Pharaoh snarled at them all and continued his sweeping. As he swept one last frog from the top of a shelf, Pharaoh felt happy and pleased with himself. "I got rid of you all," he gleefully cried. "There's nowhere left for you frogs to hide." The littlest frog was very afraid. He lay under the bed, and that's where he stayed. Pharaoh shut every door and felt very proud. In hieroglyphics he wrote, "No frogs aloud. "I'm tired," he sighed, and with one final sweep, he crawled into bed and fell fast asleep. When the palace was quiet and peaceful at last, when the shutters were drawn and the doors all shut fast, the littlest frog was no longer afraid. He hopped onto Pharaoh, and that's where he stayed. Now it was safe, so he bellowed a croak. And just at that moment, the Pharaoh awoke. "This can't be happening. This must be a dream. I got rid of you frogs," Pharaoh began to scream. He rose from his bed with a terrible thought. "Can this be what my stubbornness has brought? Perhaps Moses was right. The Jews should be free. Maybe that's why this is happening to me." Suddenly, Pharaoh was very afraid. He hid under the bed, and that's where he stayed. Thank you for listening to my story, and I want to wish you all a happy Passover. Bye, friends. Until another time.